every week where people hope to have it tuned up from such and such a band or something like that.
Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? I am telling you, we have got a cracking show for you tonight. I've spent all day doing nothing but looking at really old videos, and I'm going to be honest and say I have far too much for one show. I could not figure out what to include in the show tonight. There is just tons. So we're going to have another night. It's as simple as that. There's going to have to be a second night. So we definitely will do it. And also joining us later on this evening is Sam and the three dogs. So we're really, really excited to get talking to them tonight as well. So we are going to start straight off. So tonight should have been the parades of Ardagh accordion, also Pride of Ballymacash, and there should have been a banner parade in Bushmills as well. So we can't get to any of those. Now, tonight we are doing nothing but bands who are no longer with us. There might be a wee clip of ones who still are in between where we couldn't split them out. But this is one, and we're playing these guys first because this is Pride of Prince William from Lisburn, who folded a few years ago and ended up merging with Pride of Ballymacash, and they merged with Ballymacash, and they ended up becoming tonight's Pride of Ballymacash, and it should have been their parade tonight in Lisburn. So we thought this was a really good one to start. So this is Pride of Prince William, and they're playing at South Belfast Young Conquerors in 2010. Nice quick one there. A lot of the clips this evening are going to be slower than our normal clips, purely because of the fact that way back then, the bands normally were just videoed as they went past the videographer, and they didn't follow them around in the way that they do now. So, I mean, all credit to the guys who do the videos. And of course, do remember to go on, give them all a wee like, a quick share, and support them all in terms of you know, like giving them support on their YouTube channels, because they're all, the work that they put in is absolutely amazing. And I keep forgetting to say this, but Roy in the background there, he's like almost like part of the furniture. But without him, this wouldn't be technically possible. So again, thanks to Roy. He is behind the scenes, but keeping me right. Absolutely. Lots of you online, over 330 already, which is amazing. And we had something like 650 something comments to trail through from last night. Loads of fantastic suggestions for the old time bands. So we're going to move quickly on. This one is from Queensway Flute Band, and this is them back in 2006. The last one was 2010. And when you say 2010, you think that was just couple of years ago. It wasn't, it was 10 years ago. I mean, where did those 10 years go? So this is Queens by Foot Band from 2006. And this is them at Lisburn Young Conquerors Parade. And it's a video by Loyal Ulster Bands. Brilliant, isn't it, to see that? Honestly, I have been in heaven the whole day. If you are a band nerd, you're absolutely going to love tonight's show because there's just so many of these really, really old videos. We've got stuff going right back to the 80s, right through up until probably about that one in 2010 is probably our latest. We are trying to get so many of them included. And to be quite honest, we cannot do it all in the one night. So we're going to have a second night, which just suits me fine. So moving quickly on, this is a little one that was requested and sent to us by Eddie McCulloch. Eddie is actually, I think he said he was in the bass drum in this particular clip. This is White Abbey Protestant Boys. Now, he did apologise and say that there is an ad on the middle of the screen, but you can just ignore that. We have the difference between the quality of the video and then and now is just, it's night and day, and it really does make you appreciate all the work that all those guys and girls do. But this is White Abbey Protestant Boys from 1996. Very sudden stop in that video there caught me unawares. Didn't have a wee note of that there. Brilliant. That was White Abbey Protestant Boys. If you have just joined us tonight, it's totally about bands that are no longer with us. Might be one or two slip in that are with us because it's part of a whole video where the majority are folded now. And that was, as I say, White Abbey Protestant Boys, submitted by Eddie McCulloch. Eddie, you should have paid the $29.95 instead of trying for the free version of the software. Ridiculous. Spend the money, Eddie. Eddie, spend the money. I suppose he's just as bad when he's buying a round of drink. Speaking of which, I don't have one this evening, so I'm going to have to sneak out during this next video and get my bottle. The next video was sent in by Mark Collins, and Mark asked us to play this one. He said that his granny used to run the band, and she ran it for years. And unfortunately, the band folded just before she passed away a few years ago. But this is a clip of Jordan Memorial Accordion Band from Carrickfergus playing in 2013. And if you watch at the back, you should be able to see Mark's granny there, making sure that they were all behaving the way that she always did. Following that were Balnafy Apprentice Boys, flip band, but I wasn't 100% certain. I think they're still going. Somebody can keep me right in that there, so I didn't include that clip. Some of the other clips, it's harder to avoid the bands. But tonight, we're trying this for the first time, and we're trying to have a guest on for the first time. And if this works, we'll maybe try it with some other people. But tonight, we thought that there is nobody else who could be more important to have on the first time we have a guest on is, of course, the three most famous creatures connected to Ulster's marching bands. And they are, of course, Ghost, Ashe, and Sirius. Sam, are you there? You're just accompanying. You're not that important, I have to say.
I'm surprised you used my name.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that with me as being the man with the dogs.
You are just the taxi driver.
Yeah, it's just something like that. Taxi driver, pool lifter, and things like that. They're just.
Well, tell me this. This is something I do want to ask. And if you have any questions for Sam, pop them in the quotes and I'll see if I can get asking them in time. We're a bit delayed between you, but just in case. So how is Sirius getting on? She's the newest one, isn't she? Sirius
is just getting a fine, so she is, but a wee bull, so she is. She just has to be taken on, I see all the time, and she wants to be the middle child, where she has an attitude.
Oh, she really is.
That's her stance.
Like everybody else, I am glued to every wee video and picture that you're putting up and absolutely loving them. And she just seems to be trying to rule the roost.
She definitely does, you know, and I like that about her because it means she's going to be game and she'll stand up to things. And even sitting posing now, she has that wee pose where she knows she's getting a treat for her pose.
Oh, brilliant. Where are they then? We've looked at your face too long. Where are they?
Yeah, we'll give you a wee look around now. The music has soothed them to sleep, so they have.
It has not. There's
That's
Ghost.
Ghosty Boy
Yeah.
lying out for it. And Ashley has taken over where Angel would have slept most of the time on my two-seater. That was Angel's seat all the time.
Yeah.
Ashley has taken over that. And then we have Cyrus, who doesn't really move from my side much. Now, this is the first time that she has been dressed up. Now, whether the coat is too heavy for her, that she can't cope with the weight, or she's just tired out with sunbathing today, but that's the way they mostly lie here all the time, Valerie.
Oh, that is so brilliant. And are they, well, I suppose it's really difficult for you to get the two new girls used to the noise of the band. Are you playing them?
That's the only thing I feel at the minute. See, the walking and whatnot, I don't fear that. It's just that loud when the drums start off and the big drum comes on. I'm just fearful of that. So I'm missing the wee concerts and whatnot where I could have brought them on easily with it.
Right. And now tell me this, you mentioned it earlier on, the poo lifting, does that happen often? Sorry, I wanted to know this.
I'm asked a lot of times, people would say, how come they never do that? But they do. I would go to a parade early, maybe about an hour and a half or so, and I would lift them out of the van, and then we would do a wee walk around, and hopefully they can go to the toilet before the parade starts. But it's not always like that.
And do they always get their burgers at the end of the parade then?
They always get the burgers. And the best thing about it, when Angel was about, Angel knew to walk over to the burger vans, and the burger people knew her, and they would have served her right away, and she would come back to me. People says, where's Angel? I says, look for a burger van. That's where you'll get Angel.
Oh, she was, people, like, I mean, I say it about my guys all the time, they just are so clever. And I think it's wonderful the way that kids take to them. I mean, kids absolutely adore them. I mean, you put up photographs every parade that you're at where kids is just flocking to them. And my own young boy was the same when he was younger. I mean, they just love them, don't they?
Yeah, and there's a certain, I call them my wee buddies. I have different ones that walk with me, and I don't want to name them all in case I would leave out somebody's name. So, I just call them my buddies, and how they get on with the dog, and the dogs get on with them, and it just eases them, whether they're sitting on the wee chairs or they're marching along or whatnot. And it's so great that the kids are so excited that they're doing something simple to it. Other people are used to doing day in and day out, maybe complaining about marching and whatnot. But the enjoyment they get out of it, it's like a wee dream come true for them that they never thought, as I call it, marching.
Aye, and some of them, I mean, some of the guys that you're pushing, and the girls and that, they're in wheelchairs, and it's fantastic for them to get that opportunity to be involved with the marching bands, and that you're giving it to them. And I know that you said at times before about how excited they always are and how much they say they're loving it, and it's brilliant that they get that. And I have seen other bands with kids out in front with the wheelchairs and that there, and it's fantastic. And the other two haven't started beating all the guests yet, but I'm sure that natured wise will be exactly the same as Angel and Shadow and Ghost, obviously. I'm sure you miss Angel and Shadow. I think it broke everybody's heart, not just yours.
Yeah, Angel was a bit of an icon when she came on. People couldn't believe it, how she just marched along beside us, and as if she was just out for a wee dander. And the music never, ever, doesn't matter.
Have we lost you, Sam?
Where she was, she just took it all.
We still got you. Yes, we've got you. We're back again. We thought we were there. Yes. She is, Eddie says that you do some amount of parades, Sam. The dogs are eating some amount of burgers. Are you saying that, Eddie, because of Sam's size or the dog's size? Now, which is that one? Sam, hi, Sam and the family. Chrissy says from Glasgow. James Ramsey says hello, Sam. Richard McDonald, we hear this. You know this is going to be a smart comment when I just say Richard. Yep. He says, how are you managing now all the barbers are shut?
It's very hard, Richard, at the minute, so it is, to get home appointments and whatnot. Sometimes my home help would, when running around with a Hoover about the house, she would just run the Hoover over the top of my head too. So she was.
Well, I'm sure you're eager to get the girls and Shadow out in the road, or the Ghost out in the road again. So hopefully the parades will be back as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're hoping that ourselves, because it is missed, when everybody has that wee camaraderie where people would maybe say, Sam, where are you playing this week? and I would say such and such, all right, we'll be up and we'll give you a shout and whatnot. And it's nice that people come out to see the dog. Well, they come out to see everybody, but you know, you're bringing people out that say, oh, we go to see the dogs and whatnot. But that's really, everybody goes to see the whole of the breed, not just the dog. But
no, and it's good that
nice when you meet somebody and
they also have that connection as well, you know, with you and with the dogs, and they're able to say, oh, look, there's Sam and the dogs. And of course you are involved with myself and Roy and a few other ones in the mental health charity Light of Foot. I always like to give it a good mention here, because there is absolutely no way that people realize the mental benefits that being in a marching band can have, and getting out there, the physical exercise, the taking your mind off it, the talking to people, and you know that yourself. You know, just how helpful that is.
Oh, Barry, seriously, you know, and I was just thinking about it the other night, you know, and whatnot. Some days you would have a good day where, you know, banter would just fall out of me on my Facebook page. I've got a photograph there. I would have a smart comment or, you know, something funny to say about it. But then there's other days where you'd have a wee low and you just don't get the same. But when you plan things for the weekend, whether it's the bait or your dogs or the uniforms and whatnot, it gives you that, you know, something to look forward to and something in your mind that's you're working up to.
Mm-hmm. And then there's obviously the fellowship with all the other band members as well, you know, and they've been able to talk to them. And I do know that a lot of people, you know, since you've been so open about your mental health on your Facebook, and Light of Foot and all that there, and your involvement with them, I know that a lot of people have been contacting you to talk about their mental health, and you've been very encouraging in that there.
Of course, because people think because you're right in front of the band, you know, there's nothing wrong, or you dressed up in your uniforms, or you have the confidence to walk in front of the band. But, you know, and sometimes people will say, oh, Sam, you don't smile. But sometimes you go into another wee world where you maybe feel under pressure. Should I be here or should I not be here? And it's just that wee balance that you're trying to get all the time, where you're feeling confident within yourself to do what you have to do. And people would say, oh, Sam, I never thought of it like you. But it's like, the virus we're having this week, we didn't think the minister would have it. So there's nobody immune to.
No, absolutely. And the one thing I always say that, you know, like the people who have come out within the marching band scene, the like of yourself and the like of Devil, Derek Williams, you know, who everybody just knows him as Devil, but who have come out openly and said, you know, like, I have struggled at times. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. I think has given other people the confidence to be able to say, well, you know, this isn't unusual. There's not something wrong with me. This is good to talk about. And it hopefully, and this time especially, that everybody realizes it's really important to keep your mental health as strong as possible, and to talk to people and to enjoy all the things that you have in your life, and not always to spend your life wanting things that you can't have, I suppose.
Very much so. I think if we all learn from this, if it's one thing, we don't need this word want. It shouldn't be on top of our list. Let's make use of what the simple things, like I make use of the dogs around me, the simple areas that I have around my body to walk in and whatnot when there's virus, you know, and it's all simple living. And the band scene is a simple thing to get in, to promote, to enjoy, and have good people around you to enjoy that and talk.
Absolutely. I mean, as I always say, where would you get a full night's of entertainment for £1 in a box? I mean, you can't beat it. But let's get back to the music. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see the wains again. Turn your camera around so we can see the wains. We don't want to see your face. We were actually talking earlier on before the show started. There's Ghost and Ashy.
Ashy.
The wee lady.
My old sidekick Cyrus lying beside me.
Hey, they are fairly spouting, Sam. By the time we get to see them out in parade, they're all going to be the same size as Ghost there. They're going to be massive, so they are. But Sam, thank you. We are going to get back to the music, and we hopefully will see you in parade soon. Thanks, Sam. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that wee chat with Sam there and getting the wee update from all the dogs. I really enjoyed seeing them, and I always love watching Sam's videos. But back to the music very quickly. This is a band from Bushmills who folded over the past few years, and I know that there's been several attempts to resurrect them and get them back up and running again, and hopefully they're successful. Like all of these bands, there's some of these bands I'm looking at the videos from 20 years ago and going, my God, they were brilliant. How did they ever fold? And this is one of the bands, I can remember these guys being up large in numbers. This is the Giants Causeway from Bushmills, and this is them playing at Money's Parade in 2012. A lot of wee short clips tonight, folks, but unfortunately, when you go back through the years, that's what we're getting. So tonight is all about bands who used to be. Eddie has made a comment on here to say, Valerie, Britain's Got Talent is on. You mean to say you would rather watch that dross than watch the talent that we have here in our shores? And there's no more talented or talked about band than this next one from East Belfast. This is a clip of them from 1991 at a concert in Ballymena Town Hall. And I know that you're going to enjoy this. They're just, no other word, but superb. Enjoy them. Fantastic there from East Belfast. That was, of course, Sharpshooters. Now, Jose is saying that he hasn't changed a bit in there. Jose, you must have changed a bit because I couldn't make out which one of them was you. So you're going to have to tell me which one of you was you. And can you also confirm it's the one with the shocking ginger hair? Is that young Mr. Gibson, perhaps? I saw a video of him, or got a clip of him the other day in something else. but that was the only person I could think of with that shock of red hair. And it's brilliant actually to see that people who were in the bands from all those years ago are now still in bands, different bands albeit, but they are still involved in bands, and it's fantastic that they have kept in the scene and keeping that musicianship going. Now, this next band, we had a great conversation about them last night, particularly about the speed that they walked at. I found several great clips of them, but this is one that I wanted to feature tonight. This is one, actually, a clip that Devil himself took, not the Devil as in the some people might argue the Devil Down Beneath, but this is from Derek Williams. This is one of his video clips, and this is Loyalist Fusiliers Armagh. Now, wait till you see the speed these guys parade at. You would need to have a physical trainer in order to keep up with that these days. Believe it or not, that is from 2009. That's only 11 years ago, but you know, you don't see bands at that speed nowadays. But I do remember that all those Armagh bands were at that speed, and I found some great clips from 88, 89 where there are so many going at that speed. So hopefully those will be on our next show that we do with all these oldies, because I just had such a blast today going through these all, and I cannot wait to share them with you. The next one is one that I really, really enjoyed. Anyone who I was involved in accordion bands way back in the late 80s, early 90s, when accordion bands were huge and there were so many of them. Now, this next clip is a long clip. It's a really perfect example of how the videographer stood in one place and took all the bands as they went by them. So there's 12 actual bands in this next clip. So it does run on for a bit, but I know you're going to enjoy it anyway. It just goes to show you the variation that there was in accordion bands and also the size of them that there were back then. Of these 12 bands, I am really, really sadly to say, I think there's either only 3 or 4 of them still left. There's maybe a few of them left, but they're not in the same sort of, part music style. But there's really only about 3 or 4 left, which is a real pity. So this is from 1988. It is the Vows Parade in Ballymoney. Now, there is, as I say, 12 bands here. So you've got Lower Ballinderry Accordion, who no longer exist. Carntall Accordion, who no longer exist. Killycoogan accordion, who do exist but not in this format. In other words, we've simplified the accordion parts. Staranoga, who do exist. Eglinton accordion, who I don't think exist. Ballykelly accordion, I'm not sure about. Pally accordion, I think do exist. And Blackhill accordion do exist. A Hochel accordion, I don't think so. Derrykeegan accordion definitely doesn't. Britannia accordion definitely doesn't. And Bruce's Two Blues, of course, because we played a clip of them last week in the show, do exist. But have a listen to this. I mean, the quality is just unbelievable. I am biased. Take me back to 1988, please. sitting with a great big beam on my face the whole way through that clip. That is when accordion bands were accordion bands. Honest to goodness, the standards in those days were absolutely sky high. And it was in the days of the big accordion band competitions. That particular Parade of Accordions in 1988 was the same night as the big marching band contest for accordion bands in Portrush down in Waterworld, which is the rarest place to ever have a music competition because of the echoes. But regardless, it was a brilliant day. So that's why all the bands are at the best. And I have to say, I may be biased, but I have a clip of Dunloy from that same parade, and you can see why they were the cream of the cream back then. I mean, the competition between them, Carntall, who were the second band in that clip, and Killycoogan, who was the third band in that clip, was hot and fierce. And it really, I know some people aren't fans of contests, but as far as I'm concerned, it really improved the standards of all of those bands, because you were constantly thinking of some new tunes. You were constantly thinking of what the next best thing out there was going to be. Maybe the next night we'll have the oldies one. I'll play you the clip of Dunloy to see. I mean, it is rigid, you know, rows and perfection, right, left and centre. I'm biased. I can't help it. I'm biased. So moving on to the flute bands of this time. This is a flute band from 1990. A band which is playing in Bells Hill in Scotland, I believe. I think it's actually a Scottish band. And if you look very carefully, anyone who knows young David Thompson from Shankill Road Defenders should be able to point him out in this clip. This is the Mountbatten Memorial Band in 1990. Wasn't actually the clip we'd intended to play of Mountbatten Memorial, but it was still a good clip regardless. Did everyone notice Davy? Davy is the third in the front row. A little bit more hair. I think the moustache is maybe a little bit different nowadays. But great playing there from them. Now, the next band that we have a clip of has been talked about quite a lot. The thing about it is that clip from 1990 and the clip before that from 1988, I mean, that's what, 30 years ago, 32 years ago. And I've seen a lot of people on the internet at the moment saying about bands that, oh, they're fading away. There's just well, I mean, we're obviously fading away at the minute because we're not out, but they're fading away in numbers and people aren't interested any longer. And not giving away my age, but I've been in bands for quite a while, and I have seen bands take dips and peaks and troughs. They absolutely do. So back in the 80s, they had a big, real strong resurgence, really strong big bands. They then went through a trough towards the late 90s. Early 2000s came back up again. You had, like East Belfast, Gertrude Starr, all those guys with big, big numbers. And what I tend to think is that anyone who's joined bands inside the last 5, 8 years, maybe 10 years at the most, they're used to seeing bands with big numbers again. They've never been there when the bands went through the trough and are used to the smaller numbers, because I'm sure if you talk to John China, he'd probably confirm it on here, but there is loads of the bands who are now considered massive who walked with 4 and 12 or 5 and 15 or whatever. So bands do go through peaks and troughs. It's very, very natural. And what I hope to see after this virus is gone and we're back out on the road is everybody appreciates what they had, because I think that's part of the problem, that we didn't appreciate what we have. So now that we have had to do without them for so long, and I mean, what are we going to do on the 12th day? You're literally going to be lost on the 12th day. So now that we have had the opportunity to see what life will be like without them, I am hoping that it really gives us a great resurgence in the bands, and lots of people who normally would be standing at the side of the road who should be in a band are back in a band, and anybody who's left, get joining again. This next band was requested an awful lot by people the minute I mentioned about having a band, that are no longer with us. This one here was mentioned an awful lot. This is the Ulster Young Loyalists from Castlewellan. Unbelievable that there was a flute band from Castlewellan. There was a flute band and an accordion band, both of them Castlewellan. And this is them in 1990. Very short clip, but hope you enjoy it. Really short one there. Unfortunately, I could only find short clips of them, but I have got a couple of other short bits of them in longer reels that I have later on. I don't know what you're trying to do to me there, Roy. So this one here is another one of those bands where I watch them and I go, how on earth did this band fold? Because they are just superb. This is Sons of Ulster, Glasgow. And I'm not too sure of the year, but your boyo, who is Rob Glenn Holmes, when you see him on here, is the person who recorded it. He says it's probably one of the best street performances of the tune 1941 he's ever heard. And you can hear it's probably an unfair video of them, because in some cases you're too close to one flute or another, and that's sort of dominating it, and you can't hear all the parts just as closely. I blame the guy who was doing the video, and to be quite honest, but that's neither here nor there. No, but it's a fantastic rendition of it, and I think you will really enjoy this one. This is a band I just do not understand why they're no longer with us. They were superb. This is Sons of Ulster, Glasgow. I think at one point, Rab, you must have been actually in the ranks of the band along with the band there. They are, of course, in Ballymena, and by the looks of the Prentice Boys behind them, that has been for Easter Monday, so probably a really good time to play that clip. Our next clip is from Ballyclare. I can remember in the days when Ballyclare had loads of parades. It seemed to be we were parading in Ballyclare every other week, and this is one of this. These are actually a few of the bands from Carntall's parade. They had a big parade there, and they were well supported by a lot of flute bands. So what I've done is taken a little clip. I didn't want to completely deluge you with accordions all in one night. So this is a little clip where it's mainly flute bands who I believe are no longer with us. The first one I kept in just purely out of interest because it's Pride of the Raven, and I thought, wow, look at them. This is from 1988, so this is 32 years ago. Now that's scary. So so we have Pride of the Raven first of all, then we have Lisburn Young Defenders, who I don't believe exist any longer. They do. Lisburn Young Defenders. Why says Lisburn Young Defenders exist? I'm not sure. Do they? Oh, so apparently they do exist. Apologies, I mean, finished there. So apologies, they do exist. But the next one I know don't, and that is Down Protestant Boys. And then we're finishing with Carnlough. Now, Carnlough, I think, still are on the road. They're not a band that would be seen very often, they're really, really good. So this is from 1988, 32 years ago. This is scary. I am absolutely mortified and extremely I just can't believe I just did that. Lisburn Young Defenders, of course, do exist. We feature videos from them all the time. Ian and Robert, I am so sorry. I don't know why the name just didn't click with me, because I was thinking of bands that are no longer with, and I was going, Lisburn Young Defenders, that must be Blood and Thunder. I can't think of them. It just didn't click with the two. Oh, I spent too long today watching videos. That's my only excuse that I'm sticking to. So of that there, Pride of the Raven, Lisburn Young Defenders, and I think Carnlough do still exist, but Down Protestant Boys were in there. And I have to say, I was going to say one of the four of those bands would work perfectly well. Today's melody bands, but you know, I suppose they kind of do. But anyway, I thought it was a great clip. Oh, I love those old band video clips regardless. Anyway, let's move on. This is another one from 1988. This is quite a long video, so I'll not be talking in between it. You will have time to go and get your beer refreshed, etc., unless you don't want to miss the bands, because there's some great bands in here, some of whom I'd never heard of. Okay, so this next clip is from Portadown in 1988. Starts off with Portadown Defenders, who I know still exist. Then you have Sons of William Scotland, a band I'd never heard of. Hopefully I'm going to say this right. Pride of Shanachon, Catesbridge. Portadown True Blues, Sons of Ulster Mogashel, Bestbrook True Blues, Young Defenders Lisburn, who still exist, and Pride of Old Park. So this was on a guy's video YouTube channel, is WDGS85. So I think he's got something to do with Down Check Out and Star. But this is from 1988. I hope you really enjoy this. And I can name the bands again after this clip is finished if you need to. So enjoy this one. Sass, yes. That was a parade there in Portadown from 1988. I see a few of you actually mentioning a few bands I hadn't listed on it. So the guy has done his best to name all the bands in the clips. And there's some clips where we don't have any names for the bands at all. So if you do recognise them, do let us know, because it would be great to put names to some of these bands as well. So the next one, this is actually a special request from Roy. Poor Roy, he's a real Blood and Thunder lover, but because of my love of melody flute bands and accordions, we're converting them. We're converting them slowly. All melody bands, that is, with the exceptions of those that no longer are with us, like Lisburn Young Defenders. I am going to get death for this for the rest of my... Yes, there is like loads and loads of comments there. You know, there's that. There they are again, LYD, God rest, and there's that band from Lisburn that folded. Right, okay. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Can't believe I did that. Eddie says he'd love to go back to the 80s because the bands there were brilliant. Eddie, I totally agree. It was a brilliant time for bands. But I mean, we can make different memories now. There's absolutely no doubt of it. So this is one for Roy. Yes, I started to say that. I got distracted. This is one for Roy. Roy, we are slowly converting him to liking melody flute bands, which is brilliant. And this is a request for him. We couldn't get a full tune of it, but this is a band from Ballymena, and it's just typical of the wee lodge bands that you would have without the country that you maybe don't see as much of any longer, because all the young boys want to go to all the big Blood and Thunder bands, and, you know, like, instead of staying with their local wee bands, which I think they should be, but they're teenagers, it's hard. This is Ballykeel LOL 472 flute. Roy was in this for 17 years and his dad was in it for 65 years. And he said his dad joined it a few months after the band was formed, and during his 65 years in it, he only missed 2 12th periods due to having the flu. And I mean, that's quite some attendance over 60 odd years, 65 years. So this is Ballykeel Flute Band. We could only get a tiny clip of them. It's from an unfurling of a banner in 1993, so that's why you see lots of orange men there. And it's actually quite interesting. You don't think of the Grandmasters as they pass by, but at the moment it's obviously Edward Stevenson, and before that there it was Robert Salters, and then the guy before that there was Wally. It was Wilson. You can see him in this clip anyway, so you can almost like mark the time in Grandmasters. So this is Ballykeel LOL 472, especially for Roy. I've just seen that Roy had Lisburn Young Defenders on the screen along with me. If with friends like that, who needs enemies, for God's sake? Somebody said, Trevor Lennon said White Sock days. My goodness, wasn't it just Trevor? In some of these clips you can see like loads of white socks galore. Why did nobody tell them not to white socks without further? Anyway, this next parade, we are going to head back to Portadown. I'm not even going to guess any longer which of these bands exist and which don't. I'm sure there's at least one of them which no longer are there, so therefore that classifies the clip for this. But I just love these old video clips. So Sarah Louise, you had said that the names of the bands should be on the clips. The majority of the names are on most of the clips. However, some of them, the bands are obviously not in it. Someone recognised, I think it was Enniskillen Fusiliers in that last clip from Portadown, and they weren't on the list. And it's sometimes really, really difficult to recognise the bands because you can't always see the lettering and the big drum. So this one is from 1988 as well, in Portadown again. And featured on this, and you can make your own minds up whether they exist or not, are Tamnamore Flip Band, South Down DUP, Pride of the Raven, Pride of the Hill, Red Hand Defenders, and Derry Lee Flute Band. And those are the ones that are listed. It's a really long clip. It's a 9-minute long clip. So I am sure that there is probably more than that. But enjoy this one from 1988. Finished very abruptly. Is that us finished, Roy? There's nothing more coming? No, right, that's us finishing that clip. Really, really good to see the band. So that was 1988 in Portadown. Now, it is 9:30. I should be finishing. Roy, do you need a way sharp this evening? I have another half hour or so of music. Do you want to stay for it? I had so much fun looking these all out today, and I am dying to show you them all. They are parade. There's bands on here that I've seen people asking for. You've been talking about Powder Valley Teenies. I've got a clip of them on. People were talking about Milrow. I managed to get the only clip of Milrow that is on the internet that I can find at all. We've got another clip of Ulster Young Loyalists. We have got York Road. We've got Whitewell Defenders all coming up. We've got Lavin, Drummaquil. We've got a great list coming up. So listen, we're just going to keep going. I have another easily 2 hours worth of clips all lined up. So there's definitely another program of this type going on. So let's keep moving on. The other thing is, there is a catastrophe. There's a medical emergency in my house. I'm down to my last bottle of Coors. However, I haven't I haven't played my sister's requested clip, so she's probably not speaking to me. And because I'm housebound with asthma, she's doing my shopping. Her and the hubby's doing the shopping between them. So I don't think she'll oblige by getting me some more Coors. So it's going to have to be gin for Easter Monday, I'm afraid. Oh, bad things. So this next band, this next parade is from 1988 again, but this one is in Ballyclare. 3 great bands here. David Gracie Memorial, Bally Blues and Royals. Now, there was a debate last night as to whether Bally Blues or Royals still exists. I know that you still have Bally Flute Band. Does that still count as Bally Blues and Royals? I don't know. And then you have Smith Memorial Accordion, which is a wee strange one, but I know that they're no longer going neither. But this is from 1988 in Ballyclare. my goodness. Brian says the pub doesn't close until 10:30. Raymond, yes, you did hear the can-can. It was Bally playing the can-can. So 32 years ago, Bally were playing the can-can on the road, and somebody was requesting my Protestant boys there playing the can-can at a sit-down contest in Lisburn Young Defenders, who don't exist any longer, of course. There's some other questions there. Yes, there's still a debate. If you change the name of the band, is it still the same band? Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Bally Blues and Royals and then Bally Flute. I don't know. I could debate it. Lots of brilliant requests coming in here for lots of different bands. Loads of requests. Crumlin Young Loyalists. I think I definitely know I have a clip of Crumlin Young Loyalists. Whether I have time to fit it in tonight or not, Bally, that is, or Jose, that is, I don't know. I literally could have done a 4-hour show easily. So there's definitely going to be another one of these. So Scott, you are right. The person who thought of this show is a complete legend. Thank you for the idea. I've had such fun doing this. Absolutely. Billy King says, if I'm nice to China, he might buy me a drink. China must have fallen asleep because he has been really, really quiet. Somebody check on him, make sure he's okay. He's maybe in a wagon wheel and just coma. He's in my wagon wheels. Yes, someone's asked him, is still doing the show on Easter Monday? Yes, do the show. It's Easter Monday. We'll start at 12 o'clock, okay, and we'll just see how long we go on. It's just going to be videos and a watch party. It won't be me in between, though. I might see if I can say a few words, say anyway, but it'll be watch party. Oh, there he is. China's back. China's back. Good man. Yes, so 12 o'clock on Easter Monday, we're going to do just a day full of various different Easter Monday parades. We're going to try and find really old videos, more recent ones as well, and just spend the day playing them. We might as well, because I'm not going anywhere. Are you? Let me see. Could you play a clip of Pride of Balmacash and Ardara Accordion? These are both new bands. They're still on the road. Tonight's show is, we're trying to focus mainly on bands that are no longer there or just really, really old clips. So bands that are no longer there. I wasn't too sure about Pride of the Valentinis. I don't want to write them off the way that I did with Lisburn Young Defenders, but I know that Star of the North McCoskin, Cullybaggamy Defenders definitely do no longer exist. Rab tells me that Pride of the Valentinis still do the Brashean Mini 12th and the 12th of July, so effectively they're still an active band. However, they used to be really active. So this is another wee one from Ballymoney. This is 1989. I have some great clips of this full parade. So on our next oldies show, we'll cover some of the rest of them. But for the meantime, this is just a short 2-minute clip with those 3 bands in it from Ballymoney in 1989. doing is tonight's show is older bands or bands that are no longer with us. They're really, really, old videos, which I just love watching. It's a real, just a band nerd thing. Plus, that was my time. I was young and fit and could do all these parades way back then. We're going to move to Scotland. This is especially for Gary Denham, who runs the Scottish Loyalist Bands YouTube channel. I think that's the name of it. Guys, go on to any of our YouTubers. Please give them their support. Without them, we wouldn't have the great quality videos that we have today. Now, this is only 5 years old, and it's really sad that bands of this quality inside the past 5 years have folded, you know, and it's really shocking. Towards the end of tonight's show, we'll have some more recent bands which have folded, which is such a pity. And it would be great to see them all coming back again. Maybe after this, maybe they'll reactivate. This is Lanarkshire. Yeah, I think that's right. Lanarkshire Loyalists in 2015 at the Purple Star 3 Scottish Soldiers Memorial Parade. So that was Lanarkshire Loyalists. And even just, well, I was going to say even in the space of the years, but when you're going from 1988 to 2015, there's quite a few years of technology difference in there, but you can see the difference in the quality of the recordings and everything. Going to go back to some of the old stuff. Someone texted in there to say, and my mum also sent me a message, to say that the name of the Grand Master before that there was the Reverend Martin Smith. I remembered it was a Reverend, but for some reason I thought his first name was Wally. But you could see him in the back of one of those clips there, and that's why we were trying to remember. If you've joined us, tonight is purely a night of bands who are no longer with us, or bands who folded, or just really, really old band videos. I should have kept this for Easter Monday and just spent 4 or 5 hours doing nothing but this on Easter Monday. It would have been a blast, absolute blast. We're going to go back to 1989 in our time machine again, and this is from the Ballymoney Cancer Research. In its day, probably one of the biggest parades around. You were get bands coming from everywhere to join it. I have the full parade, and it's really, really interesting. Take a look at the cars at the side of the road and everything. I mean, it's just like a different world. It's hard to believe that, you know, I paraded in this parade, and it's mind blowing. But anyway, in this clip is the Carvaclochen flip band, a mass band of Carntall accordion and play accordion. So Johnny Dope, that will keep you happy. I know they weren't the best accordion bands in that day. You know, it's obviously Dunloy. Johnny and I have a little bit of banter about that one. And then at the very end, a very small clip, the only clip I know of on the internet, of Milrow flip band. Enjoy this one. you enjoyed that. If anyone else knows of any clips of Melrose on the internet, let me know. That was really just a wee short clip that I had by pure accident. But I have the whole of the rest of that parade on, so we'll get playing that another night as well. Oh my goodness, where is the time going? It's 10 to 10. But listen, I have a list made out for tonight and we're getting through it. It's as simple as that. I watched these all day today, so you're just going to have to watch them tonight. So if it's your bedtime, away off to bed and let us oldies reminisce. Lisa posted on there, 1989, the year that she was born. My God, you're making me feel really old. Oh, not good enough. Lisa is, of course, one of our videographers, to use Billy Gray's word of the night, and she does some great work in the video, and we usually have loads of her photos or her videos on here as well. So we're going to go back to Portadown again. We are in 1988 again. I think I've managed to get the full of this parade in through our program in one way or another. There's only 3 bands listed on this particular clip. Clocker Brothers and Boys, the Ulster Young Loyalists, which included Hillhaven as well. So this is 32 years ago. And there is lots of other bands following this. We don't know them, so there's no names on the video. So let me know what these bands are, okay? And then we can let everyone else know. Enjoy this one. At the end of it, Roy, yeah. It just stops. I am sure that wee girl sitting in the car, did you see her? Obviously her dad's the cameraman and he just zooms her right in her face. God love her. I'm sure she's mortified now she's seen that with all of you guys. So Mark Patterson had joined in there just when Karen Tall and Polly were on. Yes, of course you were there, Mark. For you and Johnny, Karen Tall, there's a really good clip of them earlier on in the show. It is 10 o'clock, but I am just going on to, there's a good stubborn Ulster Scot in me, and I have about 6 more pieces. So you're going to get them. End of story. Let's see what other clips. Cheryl is asking, is it just me, but was every band fast back then? Yeah, they were. Some of them were faster, some of them ridiculously fast, but some of them definitely were faster. And Roy was stunned that the Sound of Silence was played by one of the bands there as well. For all you young whippersnappers, your most recent time of hearing Sound of Silence wasn't the first one. It was in the church years and years and years ago, and as you know, the bands all take a lot of music from the church. Brown Girl in the Ring is one that I frequently quote because it got a few bands into trouble at one stage, but it was all played in the 80s and the 90s by the bands. So a little bit more recent, this next one. This is from 2011, and whenever you say 2011 you think, oh, that was only last year before. It was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. So this is Cullyback and Young Defenders, and this is for Andy Connor. Hopefully you enjoy this one, Andy. And this is them at the Constable Anderson Memorial Parade in Larne. I think it's their 50th anniversary parade. So this is 2011. Nice wee short clip, that one. I just about got a mouthful or two of my cores there. This one here is from 1988. It's only a wee tiny clip. It's less than a minute. It's only 48 seconds. And it's from the Belfast 12th. Now, somebody was asking earlier on, did I get any of the Belfast bands? I do have a clip of a lot of the Belfast bands in the 80s. It looks to be the Belfast 12th. But we just don't have time for it tonight. But we definitely will have to have another show because I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying it. And if I enjoy it, sure, that doesn't matter. But the rest is. This is the York Road No Surrender Flip Band on 1988. And it's from a video of a guy who used to do a lot of videos. I don't think he does just as many now. He's more into the photography. Cyberprod, but John McCormick, great video here. And this, as I say, is York Road No Surrender. The Hallions walking up the side of the band always makes me laugh whenever I see that. If anyone else knows of any longer clips of York Road No Surrender, do let me know because I would like to see a slightly longer clip of them. Someone had asked for this band earlier on. They said that they are no longer with us. Whitewell Defenders. It seems like I saw them not so long ago, and this clip is only from 2017, so it seems It seems so sad that they have folded already when we have such a recent clip of them, but this is them at the Fairhill Flip Band's 50th anniversary parade in 2017, and it's from the YouTuber Loyal Ulster Bands, who is Lisa, that we mentioned earlier on, that wee young pup. We were meant to just play the one clip of Whitewell there, but boys got carried away, just played the both. Sure. We're overrunning tonight anyway, so who cares? This one here, it's a band that I'm not too familiar with, I have to say. John China is telling me that there is moves to reform Pride of Whitewell. He says Whitewell Tartan now reforming, so good to hear, glad to hear it, keep it up. And if you're around the Whitewell area, get the flute on and get learning their tunes and give them a bit of support. This is Pride of the West, and it's a video from one of our team on the march, Neil, and it is from 2012, which again, I keep saying this, you say 2012 and you think that's only many years ago. It was 8 years ago. Really, really strange. This is Pride of the West at Pride of Ardowns Flip Bands Parade in May 2012. Cheryl, that was at the Ballysillan Parade. And a few ones are talking about the girl who used to lead with the front of the band. She wore shorts and that there. Tanya does ring a bell in terms of name for me, but I don't know what band. I just knew her through the band's forums and that there. She was really, really good. I do remember that much. And it was great to see a female out doing that there. It tends to be when you see females doing drum major in front of the band, they're more of a pipe drum major style. And it was great to see her doing the Blood and Thunder and was equally as good, if not better, than some of the men. Just a few more to go. We started off this show, we were going to go for an hour, and then we extended it to an hour and a half. And I'd say by the time the night's finished, tonight will have been 2.5 hours. It's just gone like that. Sure, you've been enjoying yourself. Another more recent one is Newton Abbey True Blues, and this is them from 2011 at the Constable Anderson Parade. Okay, folks, we have come to our last clip of the night. So just a combination of about six bands, yeah. Thank you for sticking with me the whole evening. It has definitely gone on much longer than I thought it would, but there was just so much great material out there, and I just love looking through it all for you, and I loved watching it again tonight. So I've just spent my whole day just watching band videos, and it's been brilliant. I hope you have enjoyed it. I think we'll definitely have another older parade again, because there's loads of videos out there, and I love watching them. Just complete band nerd when it comes to that stuff. We're going to finish off this evening with a clip from 1989 again, because it's just my favorite era in banding. I hope you join me on Monday when we will have something going on from 12 o'clock. How long for? I do not know. We'll maybe just set a few videos onto stream and you guys can have a watch at them and, you know, pretend you're at an Easter Monday parade somewhere. We'll definitely have something from 12. So join us from 12. There'll be something going on for sure. What format that takes, we haven't really just settled on it as yet. We're looking also towards getting started a virtual pub quiz type thing, where we get half a dozen of you on screen, and there's quizzes being done about you know, like things related to the band scene or our heritage and our culture and our history and all that kind of stuff. You know, so again, we're just waiting on the format to get worked out on that there as well. Probably have it on Wednesday evening or something like that there, just to keep us occupied during the week, because it seems like a long time from a Saturday to a Friday night while we're waiting on the bands coming. So final clip for the night is from 1989. It is from the Vi Accordions Parade. I know that there's definitely some of these bands are no longer with us, unfortunately. The first one is my mummy's old band. This is the band she was in when she was a young girl, and it is the Lav and Flute Band. Then we have Balnagarvey Flute Band, Drumaquil, who are no longer with us as well, and I think there might be a very young John Watson in this clip from the Frim Memorial. Varden Flute Band, who do exist, they sort of went through a really, really rough patch. We're going to fold, so they changed their style to come back as a Blood and Thunder Flute Band, but this is them as their old style as they were back in 1989. Stonogan Flute Band, who again had folded for a while and have come back again, and then Glen Hugh. Glen Hugh, I'm not too sure. I think Still going, yeah. Roy's confirmed. Yeah, they are still going, which is good. I'm not going to have another band fold it. So this is from 1989, folks. I hope you enjoyed. I've really enjoyed tonight. Anyway, I hope you have as well. So remember, flips to the myth. We are coming to the tune.